on our channel, the
Yeah.
YouTube. And does it take time? Seeing on, okay,
I think if you refresh the page, maybe
yeah, yes. LinkedIn says we're live.
LinkedIn says happening now. I got the
Yeah,
notification. Um,
I'm looking at waiting for it to go live on YouTube. I'm looking at waiting for
I think YouTube is having a
it to go
lag, right?
live. Can you see me on YouTube? Yeah,
There is a
yes,
lag on YouTube, but I think it's
yeah,
working.
we're live. Yes.
Looking at waiting for. I think YouTube is having a
It to
lag.
go live. Okay, there's this echo here. All
I've
right.
gone I've gone mute on YouTube just to check if everything is fine.
Yeah, thanks, man. Good. In a minute, I think we can begin.
Sure.
Good. In a minute, I think we can begin.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, guys, if you're wondering why aren't we starting, you're waiting for a few people to join in. But we should be able to start in the next, what, 30, 40 seconds.
Guys, I think everyone should join in because today's session is going to be very interesting, and a session which I think everyone should, definitely watch and listen, because somewhere or the other it is going to help in everyone's life. Some practices what Akshay, and myself have been practicing individually and with our experiences, and I think everyone will have their set of experiences, and I maybe it can add more to your experience. I think this session is a very good session to attend.
Yes, thank you for that, Avinash. And with that, I think we can start. We'll probably start by you introducing yourself, and then I'll.
Sure.
Use-
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Avinash Mathias, and I'm 34 years of age, actually 35, and I reside in Mumbai, but not throughout my life. I have lived in different countries with different phases in my life. So I call myself a nomad, but an Indian nomad. Have been working for the past 13 plus years in the industry that I love the most. Very passionate about my work. When it comes to the fast paced life, yes, I have a fast paced life, but I know how to take pauses in my life, and it's happened with experience, with exposure, with self in analyzing myself, uh, and taking the lessons that I get from everyone around me as to how can one be more cool, calm, and composed in such a hectic, stressful situation. So that's me. I work as an AVP for a company, Digital Refresh Networks, where I take care of strategies for brand building and activations for brands. Uh, whether you're a mid-sized brand or a large-scale brand, Avinash is the go-to person in the industry. So yeah, that's about me. And along with me, I have my co-host Akshay Masurekar. I think all of you all know him. He has been he has played a very important role in my life over the past 6 months. I know Akshay in the past 6 months now, and it was like more than a first connect. Akshay has become like a family because whenever I'm in a situation, he's always my go-to person for any guidance and help. And thank you so much, Akshay, for being that part. And it's not only Akshay but his wife as well, who has helped me also in my journey of self-analyzing, I would say. So yeah, Akshay, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Avinash, for the lovely introduction and your introduction as well. Before we begin, as promised, a brief introduction about me. Not as interesting as Avinash, but I'll stick to the brief. Uh, so, I'm only going to talk about my last 3 to 4 years as the transformational catalyst. The last 4 years have helped me interact with people from various walks of life. And while the focus was to help them find their true self, in a way, they also kind of helped me find who I truly am. And it's still a journey. That is what I've kind of realized. And that's what I tell people when they uh, come to me to work with me on various aspects of their life. So that's briefly about me. As a transformational catalyst, I focus on helping people understanding the true meaning of their emotions because emotions, as humans, we are emotional beings. The word emotion has a negative connotation to it, though of late people have kind of understood the true meaning of emotions. And this talk, we will be mainly focusing on the two main emotions that have been driving us since time immemorial,
Yeah.
since our childhood. It's fear and anger. So that's about me, and now I'll let Avinash take charge.
So Akshay, introduction, you cannot say it's not very interesting because you are a very interesting person in general and holistic
So
purpose.
that's my that's a trick.
It's
It's
just a trick.
always better others, yeah, allowing
Underplay
others to
करता
figure
हूँ, थोड़ा underplay करता हूँ. Get it completely.
it
Uh, so yeah, coming to today's topic, Akshay, very interesting. Why I say interesting? Because it is a topic that resonates both personally and professionally, right? Uh, Personally, it resonates a lot when you are with family, friends, society. Professionally, it is your peers, your colleagues, your brands, right? I wanted to understand what and how would you define the word fast and how do you break it down? Because the word fast, when you listen to it, it is speed. And in today's environment where everyone is competing with each other, speed is given utmost priority.
Absolutely.
So I know when you mentioned and we had a word about having this topic for a conversation.
Yeah.
I wanted to understand from you why fast.
Why fast? All right, that's a very good question. Now, while I've kind of defined it in a way as fast is an acronym for fear, anger, and stress. But let's mainly focus on the word fast. Now, as humans, we've kind of created this fake sense of urgency. Everything needs to be ASAP, ASAP. Everything needs to be fast. And the root of this fake sense of urgency can be traced back to our childhood. Now, not to blame the parents or the teachers, but that is what perhaps they learnt it from their teachers, their guardians, and their parents. But it is that अगर तुमने ये नहीं किया तो तुम पीछे रह जाओगे और अगर तुम पीछे रह जाओगे तो लोग क्या करेंगे लोग क्या कहेंगे so which is why this fake sense of urgency because we feel that if you don't get things done fast आप पीछे रह जाओगे बस right so and this is what creates that FOMO आजकल का वो that jargon FOMO fear of missing out so we want to be in the front we don't want to lose
Yeah.
right वो हर चीज जल्दी जल्दी करना है और वो जल्दी जल्दी करने के इसमें हम भूल जाते हैं कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं और क्यों कर रहे हैं right so it's to give you an example let's take the example of eating your food right? Now even I do that I focus on eating my food fast, but that's not how you're supposed to eat. You are supposed to enjoy every morsel, right? Every bite, every morsel. You need to eat it, and that is what all the experts all mindfulness experts. That is what they talk about. But to go back to your question, the word fast, it shows that as humans we've not understood the true meaning of time. We feel that 24 घंटे है, बट 24 घंटे में से 8 घंटे तो हम सो जाते हैं, तो बच गए 16 घंटे, उसमें से 12 घंटा काम करते हैं, तो बाकी का क्या करेंगे, राइट? So that the word fast is, it's like a carrot which has been given to us कि इसको पकड़ोगे तो तुम सक्सेसफुल हो जाओगे, बट वो
Hmm.
carrot मिलता ही नहीं है. हम वो भागते रहते विदाउट इवन थिंकिंग कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, एंड इन द बार्गेन वी हैव काइंड ऑफ फॉरगॉटन हाउ टू लिव. And why does this happen? This happens because we have not spent time on understanding who we are. सब कुछ external है, time external है, fast meeting your deadlines. Yes, you need to meet deadlines. You need to have that discipline. You need to have that, but not at the cost of forgetting who you are. And
Hmm.
because of this lack of self-awareness, we tend to lead our lives like a robot. Correct me if wrong.
Absolutely right. Because professionally, yes, it is a mandate that things
Yes,
have to be delivered as per deadlines. Maybe the slack of one or two persons with who you work with, and
absolutely.
then you take that responsibility and ownership, right? That I need to complete this. There's
Right.
always that fear that if you don't prove a point, at your workspace, you don't get recognized and credited for. Uh,
Absolutely. Well
while
said.
that is workspace, I think personally also we tend to be getting in that speed of being the favorite,
Correct. Absolutely.
because the fear of not being accepted if you fail. I think it is something with the Indian culture that failure is treated very bad.
Correct. Absolutely.
I think, and there is this very famous saying by, if you look at the profiles of any top person, right? If you talk about the Tatas, the Ambanis, right? Everyone failed, experimented, and they failed, and they learned from those failures, right?
Absolutely.
And then they stepped to success. I think we are at an age where success is only the option left.
Correct.
I think when we were kids, when digital was not a part of our life, things are very smooth.
Yeah.
When we're sitting in a room, there is a lot of interaction happening.
Mm.
You stand and you plan things as to, let's go out, let's go for and play games, we'll come home and do homework, kind of a
Correct.
situation. But now there is no time because everyone is hooked on their gadgets. Why?
Correct.
Because they want to keep themselves updated with what is happening
Absolutely.
every second.
Yeah.
Because like they say, the gadget can be a blessing,
Yeah.
but it's majorly a curse.
Correct. I agree.
There were days when we didn't have a gadget and nobody knew about our whereabouts.
Absolutely.
No one used to take stress about it.
Absolutely.
But
I
now,
completely agree.
in spite of having the gadget, people get stressed about it. You still haven't reached home. Where are you stuck?
Right.
Where where is my deadline? Where is my project?
Yeah.
There's no end time to it. And I
There's
think this has increased when the COVID struck in.
no. I absolutely I agree. And it's this constant rush to finish your tasks quickly, or to convert your clients, is driven by your desire to, as they say, to achieve more in less time, to earn more money every minute. And it is this rush that often leads to your feelings of fear, anger, and stress, and which is what we're going to be talking about.
Actually, I would like to add one more. If we could spell fast as FAAST, because while you say fear,
Anxiety. Is it
anxiety,
anxiety? Yes.
anxiety, because
Yeah.
I think anxiety is something that
Correct.
takes the confidence of a person.
Absolutely.
While yes, we think of the emotions of being happy, sad, fearful, anger,
Yeah.
but anxiety is something that I don't think people understand. When you get that anxiety attacks,
Correct.
it's very easy to say that any situation hota hai, I'm depressed.
Hmm.
The word depression has been abused to the maximum.
Even anxiety, right?
Correct. Someone who has dealt depression knows the actual feeling of depression. People
Absolutely.
go on medications, but even for anxiety attacks as well, people take
Yeah.
medications to
Yeah.
calm themselves, right?
Absolutely.
But I think these two words have been abused to a maximum level that it's become a joke now.
Yeah. It is.
Like even if someone is depressed on a serious note, you don't take that person light. I mean, seriously about it.
No.
It's kind of like
Agreed.
everything is getting deviated, and that's why I connected very well with this topic when you said, Avinash, let's have a conversation. Let's not keep it formal. Let's keep it a very open conversation.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
There have been phases in your life. There has been phases in my life as well where I have also gone through this, and you've also gone through
Yeah.
this.
Absolutely.
It's like the Maslow's hierarchy,
Yes.
where you have the basic, and then ultimately you reach the
Correct.
self-actualization.
Self-actualization. Yeah.
Right. I think in this fast pace that you've mentioned, people don't want to follow the steps. They just want
No,
to reach
they just
self.
want, yes, absolutely. सीधा जाना है without even knowing what self-actualization actually means.
Exactly. So that brings me to my second question to you.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, when you talk about fear, anger, stress, it does take an effect on your heart,
Yeah.
which is your emotional well-being and mental well-being, and vice
Correct.
versa.
Absolutely.
So, how is it that one can understand those symptoms?
I think yeah, that's a good question. And heart, as you know, is the first organ that develops or that forms in the fetus, even before life begins in the body. And this is something that I've if you've read my posts, if you've seen my other videos, I keep repeating this because that's the truth. And because heart being the first organ that develops, it is the organ that holds the true essence of our life. It has the secret to our life. It understands our purpose on this planet, uh, but unfortunately, we've not utilized the power of this beautiful organ. So, if you've have you do you observe your heartbeats whenever you feel happy or fearful or angry or sad? Have you ever connected to your heartbeat?
I have when I'm very anxious.
Anxious, right? So each so but what I believe that each emotion has a distinct rhythm. Now I will not be able to explain it on this video, but you need to listen to uh, those ticks, and you don't need doctor's stethoscope for that.
Yeah.
You know, like Amir Khan had said, all is well, which is very true. But you don't have to say all is well. You just need to just place your palm on your heart and experience that emotion. Listen to your heart. And I'm not sure if you know this, but heart is also known as the filter of all emotions. So each emotion has a particular organ in the body,
Mm.
but heart is the only organ that filters all the emotions, and which is why it is extremely essential for us to connect to those emotions and express us. अगर गुस्सा आ रहा है तो it's not about controlling your anger, it is about controlling the intensity.
Hmm.
Right? Intensity मतलब वो पेन तोड़ना, becoming that Hulk. We are not here to become Hulk. We are here to express your anger. So if you're not happy with something, or if someone's annoyed you, and if you're not aware of what's happening within, yeah, we tend to lose it. We tend to lose the intensity. But the heart is there to tell you, boss, तुम जितना beating लोगे, मेरे को तुमसे ज़्यादा beating होगा. So which
Hmm.
is why when you feel hurt, when you're afraid, when you're anxious, your heart feels it too, and it's a sign that the heart is asking us to take charge of our life, take charge of those emotions. So all you need to do is just become aware of those emotions, just become aware of what you're kind of feeling within. Because emotion, as you know, it's energy in motion, right? So
Yeah.
it's an energy that's flowing. So if you're angry, you will experience heat inside. वो अंदर वो आग जल रही है. If
Hmm.
there's fear, वो थोड़ा coldness, anxiety में coldness आएगा, which is what it is. But the more you block your emotions, that will create a lot of problems for the heart, right? And We as humans are meant to be expressive and share. बट वो नहीं करते, क्यों नहीं करते? बिकॉज फियर ऑफ बीइंग जज. लोग क्या कहेंगे यार, आई बी people will definitely not listen to what I'm trying to say. Those are the thoughts. So going back to your question, heart is the most important and it gets impacted. So all you need to do is just connect your heart, just observe those heartbeats, understand what is happening within. And people, you've seen people saying about lifestyle, erratic eating habits. Uh, these are blamed for poor, heart health,
Yeah.
and this is true. But suppressing emotions is equally responsible for harming the heart from within. In fact, your inability to express your emotions have been some of the major causes of heart-related ailments and sudden deaths. Because it's like you don't want to share anything, you're keeping inside. वो heart क्या करेगा यार? So, which is why it's extremely important to connect to those and symptoms. Yeah, we'll talk about the symptoms as we move ahead. But simply for anxiety, as you may have also experienced, heartbeat, the palpitation. It kind of you may feel that it's going out of order, but that's
Mhm.
not the case. It's beating really fast. But that is what the heart is asking you to slow down. The faster the beat, the slower you need to get. You need to just focus on your breath. So get your focus on that heartbeat and listen to what your heart is trying to tell you. All it's telling you is to slow down. All it's asking you to do is understand and speak up. That's what the heart
I think beautifully said, Akshay, with regards to having that rhythm,
wants. Right.
with every emotion, there is a rhythm that attached to the heartbeat.
Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
which brings me to my next question. That I don't know why, but I feel that not only my heart, but I think majority people, there are only two emotions that are there within every person I see, right from a rickshawala to my house help to a white collared employee, right, or to the CXOs of companies
Yeah.
or to family.
Yeah.
There is fear and anger,
Absolutely.
and I think it's just taking precedence over everyone's lives at present. There there is no control of these two emotions. I think if you have to weigh, I think there's only 10% of happiness. The
Correct.
remaining 90% is divided between fear and anger. Why do you think this is happening, and why is it that people are grumpy when they wake up in the morning? Because it starts like that, you know,
Correct.
without clarity of thought. Usually, I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you have to be happy, right?
Yeah.
Because your
Absolutely.
energy levels are different in the
Correct.
morning.
Correct.
But
Right.
it's I think it has become very tensed with everyone. I think there are only 1% people like you who may be happy in the morning, but a lot of us don't feel that emotion anymore.
Right.
So
Yes.
why
Right.
is it that it's happening?
And yes, I'm no different. But what I've understood and what I've learned is it's not that fear and anger are kind of controlling us or taking over our lives. It's that we've kind of given away our control to external situations, right? And again, the root cause is our lack of self awareness. Because when you don't know what's happening within, you'll obviously react than respond.
Hmm.
Correct. So the key to understanding these two emotions is going back to your childhood and connecting to those life experiences. So life experiences are like your life lessons. All of us, as you know, and I keep saying this in most of my videos. So our life experiences determine our beliefs about ourselves and about the world at large, right? And these beliefs then lead to thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Correct. So it's like your iceberg. So I call it, and you can also find it online, but it's called as the EQ iceberg, which is at the bottom, which is below the sea. I mean, if you put it under water, you'll see at the base, you'll see is your life experiences. That is what you're meant to learn. Then you have beliefs. Beliefs lead to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So this is where it's your internal chatter. This is what you're feeling within your body, right? Emotions. But what is visible to people is your behavior. तो behavior पानी के ऊपर है. That's like the iceberg. Right?
Hmm.
तो लेकिन नीचे क्या है? नीचे तो वो experience है. So as a child, if as a child I learned that the only way to get things done is to throw tantrums, then there is a 99.99% chance that I will behave in a similar manner in my adult. I will throw tantrums, I will yell at people, I will break things. Or if as a child I had learned that the only way to survive in my life is to suppress my emotions and keep things within, then in my adult life also I'll do that. Like if people ask you क्या हो रहा है, नहीं कुछ नहीं सब ठीक है, everything is fine. You know things are not fine, but people don't know it. What people are seeing is अरे हाँ ठीक है, चेहरे पे स्माइल है, लेकिन अंदर क्या हो रहा है वो तो आपको पता है. And because of this suppression, it leads to a lot of anxiety, it leads to overthinking, it leads to fear, and it leads to anger.
Hmm.
And both anger, especially all emotions, but since we're talking about fear and anger and anxiety, so all these emotions have a message, right? So fear as an emotion, the message fear is trying to give you is to just protect yourself, take charge of your life, and see that you are moving the right direction. All fear wants you to do is just take charge of your life. ठीक
Hmm.
तरह से करो. Because as humans, we were born with just two innate fears. Do you know what they are?
No, if you can
So
help.
fear of falling as a baby,
Correct.
fear of falling, and fear of loud noise,
Hmm.
right? बाकी fear जो है वो हमने सब borrow किया है. So when people say कि failure से ये होगा, because your friends or your teachers or your guardians or your parents have told you fail नहीं होने का, गलती नहीं करने का, लोग क्या कहेंगे, that is the fear. So then you've learned that your experience has told you that if you fail, people will mock at you, and this then leads to your fear of being judged. बट आपको लोग ये भी बोलते हैं अरे फेल हो जाएगा तो ठीक है ना, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, तुम सीख के आगे बढ़ोगे. सो देन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन. सो व्हेन देयर इज कंफ्यूजन देयर इज एंगर. सो व्हाट इज एंगर ट्राइंग टू टेल यू? एंगर इज ट्राइंग टू आस्क यू टू आर्टिकुलेट योर थॉट्स एंड स्पीक अप. अगर आप बोल नहीं पाओगे तो आप अंदर ही रखोगे ना, तो वही होता है. इट्स लाइक अ वोल्केनो दैट्स काइंड ऑफ बिल्डिंग within you.
Hmm.
So that is what anger is trying to do. And anxiety is also asking you to just be who you are. So if you're fearful, so accept that you are fearful. It's okay. All anxiety is asking you to do is just be who you are. And based on my introspective journey, based on my interactions with people over these years, what I've kind of learned is anxiety is our inability to be authentic. Because when people say, "Ki, boss, you can't as a boy you cannot cry, or as a girl you can't get angry," you're asking them to not be who you are. Don't be you. So when you tell someone don't be you, anxiety aa jata hai. How can I not be who I am here? I need to be that. And this anxiety then leads to, because of the pressure, it leads to anger. And because you're not able to manage your anger, below the anger at the base you'll find fear, because you've not been able to manage or take charge of your life the way
You
you
want to
want
take
to. You
charge.
want to.
Correct. Correct. No, I think absolutely right, Akshay, because again, It all comes down, like you said, childhood,
Yeah,
because of what people feed in your mind.
correct.
You
Absolutely.
said, if you're a
Right.
boy, there are certain protocols for you. If you're a girl, there is certain protocols for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who has defined that pink is for girls and blue is for boys? It is us,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Right.
Uh, I don't think when the colors were made, any genders were kept in mind.
Yeah.
Everyone, I think when the colors were made, it was just to have a world with colors, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, we would only see two colors through our retina, which is pink and blue,
Right.
or we wouldn't see anything, right? We would have been like black and white or red and pink. That's it.
Correct.
Sorry, pink and blue. So I think what you said is absolutely right. Uh, which I want to ask you also, like, when now that people are fearful,
Yeah.
people fall in that stress because, say for example, there is a presentation,
Mm.
juniors are not willing to speak to clients because they are not given that exposure or that training, right?
Correct.
So in such situations, what would be a few tips? And the reason I'm saying few tips is because I don't want you to elaborate a lot. I
Correct.
think just that 3 points that everyone should keep in their mind before you go for a big forum to talk to.
Correct. Absolutely. That's a very good question. And I would want to answer this question using my own example of fear. So, as a child, during my nursery interview, I vaguely remember, and my parents keep telling me this. So, the priest, who was the principal from Michael's, so during the interview, I was asked to tell him what the thing that he had placed in front of me. It was, I believe, it was a jeep. So he wanted me to tell him कि वो क्या है. Now, typically, the principal and the parent would expect the kid would say car. Obviously, he wouldn't expect me to say jeep. But what I did was I explained it with the help of gestures. So I just did. "Mm." So he just apparently, I think that's what my father said, that he smiled and he kept the car aside. Then there was a gun kept. He said, "Now tell me what this is." So obviously, I had to tell him this was a gun. But what I did was I picked up the gun and I started shooting at him. And I think ho gaya interview. And then the principal was fine. And when we went outside, my parents were very nervous because they felt that I'm going to fail the test. Why? I answered out of the box. Now, as a baby, as a kid, of course, tabhi out of the box to pata nahi, but kids have that natural tendency to connect to your emotions, connect to your energy. And kids don't, as I said, the only fear they know is fear of falling and fear of loud noise. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है. There's no shame. Shame हम डालते हैं. अरे ऐसे क्यों किया तूने? So which is why then what I got was fear and shame. Oh, what? How could he? We've taught him so much. He should have spoken well. How did he do this? How did he not do that? Not blaming my parents here. Again, of course, that connects to their life experiences. And as parents, obviously, they were worried कि अरे अब फेल हो गया तो वापस से नया स्कूल में किधर लेके जाने का. But to their surprise, I cleared, and the principal was apparently very happy with my response. But क्या हो गया? In my head, it was I cannot go
Repeat.
think outside the box. Then in my first standard, because I was in a convent school, I was expected to speak in English, but I couldn't speak a word of English. So when that class teacher, she asked me a question, I said, "Teacher, मुझे English नहीं आती." She yelled at me saying that how could you not know a single word of English? You are in the first standard. You have to, and you are in a convent school. So क्या किया? सबके सामने बुलाया और छड़ी से मारा. What happened was fear of being judged and fear
Embarrassment.
of embarrassment and fear of expressing the truth. So since that day, I decided not to speak up, not to. I stopped asking questions. I stopped telling people that no, I don't understand. And in a way, it impacted me. It impacted my performance as a student. I was a very average student. It impacted my performance in college. Initially, for the first 10 years, it also impacted my performance in the office because fear of authority, that's the teacher, got transposed onto my bosses.
Hmm.
I could see that teacher. It's only when I started working on myself did I realize that there was no reason for me to be worried. ठीक है यार English नहीं आता था, but I learned my lesson, right? After that, I learned how to speak English. But I focused on that particular aspect of fear. So, if people want to focus on overcoming the fear, it is extremely essential. First, extremely essential to connect to your true self, connect to who you are, connect to your fears. What is your fear? Fear of being judged, hai? Fear of failure, hai? Or what are the fears? यही दो मेन fears होते हैं. Fear of failure होते हैं, fear of being judged होते हैं. उसके अलावा क्या है? Fear of death है, but वो public speaking में नहीं आएगा, right?
I think there
But
is also fear of being embarrassed,
fear of being embarrassed, yes,
because I think it is in the Asian culture,
correct,
face value is very important.
absolutely,
Like you said, as kids, there are two fears:
yeah,
fear of loud noise,
yeah,
fear of falling.
correct,
But when you grow to become toddlers,
yeah,
there is a fear of embarrassment.
embarrassed, yes. अरे क्या कर रहे हो तुम? What are you doing? Is
Yeah,
this how you speak? Is this
yeah.
how you sit? No, you're not supposed to sit like this. So वो embarrassment आ गया. What are people going to say? Did you see how you were talking there? Did you see your expression? People were laughing at you. You were sleeping there. Oh, people are observing. So all these thoughts then become messages, and these messages then keep playing like a tape, and you live uh, the entire your entire life using those messages as your rule book. कि अगर मैंने बोला तो लोग तो मुझे जज करेंगे, मुझे तो बोलने ही नहीं आता, I can't think. And this was a message I used to get in school, in college, and even in my corporate life. Oh, you can't think, you can't strategize, you don't know how to strategize. And it's only when I connected, I realized because I had not solved this particular problem, I kept getting the same message, and that's what the universe keeps doing. It keeps pushing you towards situations and towards people who will bring the best out of you. You may think that they're trying to, kind of torture you, but if you introspect, you'll probably realize that that is how we are destined to be,
Yeah.
to be who we are, right? So the first thing you need to do is, what is that fear trying to tell you? Fear of being judged है, तो वो आपके दिमाग में किसने डाला? What was your early life experience with respect to that fear? If it is fear of being embarrassed, who embarrassed you? If it is uh, fear of failure, who was the first person to tell you that you cannot fail or you cannot make a mistake? So re-script those messages. And when I say re-script, ऐसा नहीं है कि कल से आप वो re-script करोगे. Re-scripting and connecting to that fear, it's a process. You need to give yourself the time. Now even I people will tell you that initially I would be very afraid and scared of talking in front of people, and I still have that fear. Of course, I do have those initial glitches, as you may say
The
it,
jitters, the
but
jitters.
have
Yeah.
the jitters, yeah. But I am able to connect to those. I've kind of accepted that fear
Hmm.
because I realize that it's okay. People are going to judge me. So what? Everybody judges. Even I judge people at times. यार ये क्या बोला ये ऐसे क्यों बोला ये. So I'm also judging, right? So people also can judge me. So the first thing you need to do is कि आपका वो fear क्या है? Your feeling of, if it's the fear of being judged, so then at least try out. Go in public. So I had also joined Toastmasters, and they literally push you on the stage. I went up on the stage and I had found myself freezing in front of all those 30 people, but they get you to stand there and they get you to speak, because what I realized was, after that initial the jitter or the glitch, you seem to become normal, you seem to connect to who you are, and you're able to speak well. I also learned that if you want to improve your ability to present or to speak, add a little bit of drama, because as humans we love drama. कैसे करोगे आप? ड्रामा एक्शन से करोगे. इफ यू लाइक टू ऑफिस में भी कर सकते हो. लाइक आई रिमेम्बर later in my life, in my corporate life, I would make presentations by starting with an anecdote or a funny one liner. Yes, sometimes your jokes fall flat, which is also fine. In that case, what I would do is, hey, you guys didn't like my joke, I guess.
Hmm.
So that's how you add that element of fun. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to allow yourself to be who you are. The first thing is connect to your fear. Understand कि वो fear आपके दिमाग में कैसे आया. Not to blame the person, not to blame yourself. It's just to find out what happened, when did it happen. उतना ही देखना है. What is that message that keeps playing in your head, and try to re-script it. So if the message is you look like an idiot when you talk, you can re-script saying I look very interesting. People love to listen. People love listening to me. And say it from your heart. Don't just re-script or say it just because I'm saying it or just because you want to go. No, try it out. Try different things. So you need to express yourself. You need to experiment with your style and then experience. So this is what Samira keeps saying, that you need to express. You need to experiment with the way you look, with the way you express yourself, and then experience those feelings. So that's what you need to do, is become aware of your fears, your anxiety, your emotions, understand what it's trying to tell you, what are those messages, when did it come, re-script those messages, and take action. अगर fear है तो fear आपके आंखों में है और आपके दिमाग में है,
Hmm.
right? When you are standing in front of people, you see these people are looking at you, but are they really looking at you? 100 में से सिर्फ 10 लोग आपको सुन रहे हैं, बाकी 90 are thinking about their meetings, their presentations, their evening plans. So 10 लोग सुनते हैं. You need to focus on your energy and focus on how you can pass on the message to these people. I hope I've not confused.
No, no, I think very rightfully put across, which is, understanding yourself before you blame
Absolutely.
others. I think
Absolutely.
it's very easy to blame others for any situation that you're put
Yeah.
into. I think that is
Absolutely.
something that we've used as scapegoat to blame others so that, we feel good about ourselves. Are
Absolutely.
I failed because of him or her. I think that because of the fear of you getting the bashing, you blame it on others, and I think
Correct.
that's something
Absolutely.
that people
Absolutely.
should work on.
Yeah.
Now when you talk about fear, right, there is one very strong emotion that comes across, which is anger.
Yeah.
Now I know of a lot of people, and plus me as well, that there is anger when you come to work. There is anger because of the kind of workload and everything, and you're not able to complete timelines. And then when you leave from work, you take that anger with you and go home,
Mm.
right? At home, whatever the situation is, you take that anger and you get it to work.
Correct.
So there is only anger being transferred from AM to PM.
Right.
So what is it that people should do, you know, to minimize that anger in a very healthier way? While yes, workplace is where anger triggers the most,
Correct.
and especially now when you see on social platforms how employees are putting across videos,
Right.
of internal conversations, keep putting on a public forum, to create that embarrassment because you're angry.
Right.
And then people take the side of those who upload it, that how can he talk like this to, or how can she talk like this to her juniors.
Correct.
But nobody's understanding the mindset of the person who's actually talking that.
Correct.
So how can people curb that anger in a very healthier way at workplace?
This is one of my interesting emotions and questions, because my favorite superhero character is Hulk, and people will also agree that 10 years ago I used to be very angry. In fact, there have been times where people would call me the Hulk. Later on, my team started calling me Thanos. I don't know if that was worse I don't know what that was. But anyways, jokes apart, why did I talk about the Hulk? Because if so for all those who not seen Avengers or don't know who Hulk is. Hulk is this green giant, gentle giant, because now he's become a gentle giant. But he's this scientist who, because of some chemical reaction, he turns into this giant. And as a scientist, if you connect to his story, he's very intelligent, very popular, but very timid, passive aggressive, and someone who believes in suppressing his emotions. Now, because of that chemical locha, uh, uh, he turns into this green giant, very powerful giant, and he keeps crushing things, breaking things. So this is what happens, right? And it's a beautiful analogy. As humans, because you've been suppressing yourself for way too long, that suppression has led to a very aggressive energy within you. So even passive aggression, in fact, passive aggression is one of the worst kinds of anger, because through passive aggression you are trying to instigate the other person. So you may come across as timid, you may come across as someone who cannot say no, but in reality you're just trying to instigate the other person because you're not able to express yourself. So you do that by not expressing. So how do you connect to your anger? Now, as mentioned at the start, going back to the example of the EQ iceberg, if you go back to your early life experiences, you may be, uh, perhaps you may have learned that the only way to express your anger is either to suppress it or to yell at people. But when you are yelling at people, you're just being loud. You're not even expressing your anger, and that aggressive expression is also a result of your suppression, because kabhi na kabhi to wo bhanda phutega hi. So what you need to do is you need to again connect to the fact that what is it that is making you angry. And to answer this question, it is because we start taking things personally. हम वो personally ले लेते हैं. उसने मुझे बोला. He laughed at me. He mocked at me. He did not invite me. अरे ये मेरे साथ भी होता है, कभी भी हो जाता है, अरे नहीं बुलाया, क्या हो गया? But then you need to go back to your awareness. So when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling irritated, you need to ask yourself, यार क्या हो गया? So now, as a child, as I mentioned earlier, as a child, if you've known to manage your anger by throwing tantrums or by suppressing it, then you will obviously do the same thing in your adulthood. So
Hmm.
the best thing to do is obviously breathing is the basic thing. You need to just focus on your breath, be it your fear, be it your anger, be it anxiety. Just focus on your breath, because breathing is energy. Right? Breathing is life. So just focus on yourself. Anger is fire. So there's fire within you. Now, why is that fire there? The fire is there because you've been holding on to that fire. कि मैं बदला लूंगा या मुझे बदला लेना है. I'm going to get back at that person. But when that person comes in front of you, you're just not able to see it. So what you do is you transpose that anger onto someone else, right? So if I'm angry with you, but I'm not able to express it, what I'll do is I'll transpose my anger to my wife, who's not even connected. What I've done is I've taken that fireball and thrown it on her. So if you've seen what is that movie? The Panda, Kung Fu Panda. You've seen how Kung Fu Panda dodges the fireballs. Have you seen that? So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's the same thing. So it's the same thing with anger. What you need to do is just connect to that energy. Focus on your breath. Allow yourself to calm down. If there's something that is troubling you, if you've not liked what is happening, then just understand and reflect on what is it that is troubling you and express yourself. Because when you bring in that awareness, that intensity automatically drops. So you going all out and yelling at people will not happen. You breaking things will not happen. What will happen is you will remain calm and you will be able to articulate your thoughts well and you'll be able to speak. Now you may say that there may be situations where you won't get time to reflect. Then in those cases, all you need to do is focus on your breath and understand what is happening, compose yourself and speak up.
Hmm.
And while speaking, if the other person is getting aggressive, ask the person to just stop and say that we will reconnect on this later. Right now, let's not take it any further. Because anger is like your Brahmastra, right?
Yeah.
Brahmastras tend to attack each other. So, anger as an emotion, it's a very beautiful emotion. It is meant to help you express yourself. So, just use it to express yourself and use that intensity to drive your conversations in the right way. That's how I see anger
I'll
as.
need to add one more thing. What
Yeah,
I normally practice
yeah,
is
sure, sure, sure.
when I am angry, and I tell people around me as well, that before you open your mouth to remove those spiteful words, sit down, drink a glass of water.
Right,
I started this after watching the movie Chak De,
correct,
where Shah Rukh Khan tells one of the hockey players, "Gussa aa raha hai,
correct,
pani piyo," and it actually works because when you drink water, it is water falling on fire,
correct.
so it cools down. And that's what I tell everyone around me, that first drink water, बाद में जो बोलना है बोलो, but पानी पीने के टाइम पे just think at that time what you want to say. Like you mentioned,
Yeah,
anger is an emotion, but what
correct.
comes out from your mouth cannot be taken back.
Absolutely,
Like in rage, you say the most hateful things that you may not mean it,
correct.
but those hateful things can affect the opposite person very badly.
Absolutely.
And I'm speaking this out of experience. I have said things to people, but when I reflect upon it, no matter how apologetic I am, it can't take away from the fact that those words came out. There's a saying, when you say जब आदमी पीता है तो सच बोलता है.
Right,
I say जब आदमी गुस्से में होता है तो वो और सच बोल
correct.
निकलता है मुंह से.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So before you say something, like you said, you need to first analyze what you want to say, because
Yeah,
the tonality of how you say things, like you said, anyone can throw things, bang their hands, throw whatever comes across in their hands on each other and get things out there.
correct.
But the repercussions out after that, you may lose that person forever,
Absolutely, absolutely.
right? So you never know what can happen. At the end of the day, human body is like a time bomb, a ticking
Correct,
clock.
correct, correct. Absolutely,
You never know when the clock stops.
absolutely,
So once the clock stops, rather than being all regretful about the things you said, might as well take a seat back, drink water, think what you
correct,
want to say, and then say your question. And like you said, if the opposite person is also being aggressive,
correct.
tell the person, listen,
रुक जाओ भाई.
ruk jao, lower your voice.
Correct,
We can have a mature conversation,
correct. Absolutely, absolutely.
right? Also, at workspace, out of the syllabus question I'm asking,
Yeah,
do you think it is always good to have a confidant or a friend at workspace?
absolutely, absolutely.
The
It's
reason I'm asking is
hmm.
that, do you think it is very healthy or whether it is unhealthy?
No, it is healthy because you need someone to exchange your thoughts, exchange your ideas, and share your emotions and your feelings. Uh, Provided this person is trustworthy and someone you look up to, someone who is there to guide you. You could also be someone's guide or a mentor. And at workplaces, especially, this is needed. I remember in my previous company, we had something called as a buddy. So this buddy, even though this buddy was there for your new joinees, but this buddy could be your uh, initially buddy to take you through the organization, explain all these things. But later, based on your maturity, you could obviously be this person's guide, his mentor. And later on, yeah, we called it the lighthouse. It was termed as the lighthouse. And only senior leaders were a part of it, where you were kind of helping. Anybody had a problem, they could just write to you and block your time and discuss it. So it's needed. Now organizations, of course, can't always invest in hiring external consultants. But if If they're not able to do it, then this is one way of helping their employees connect to their feelings, helping the employees move in the right direction. That's also one sign of caring for your employees, creating that employee engagement, creating that employee uh, uh, what is that called? Employee experience.
Yeah. No, I think I have conflicting views. I feel it's both healthy, unhealthy. Only because, then there are a lot of comparisons that are being drawn,
Yeah,
and maybe one may overshine the other,
correct.
and it may not be in a very good gesture. But yes, maximum times it's a very healthy bond that you have at workspace, only because you know that you have someone who you can go and vent out to. But
Correct.
provided that the person is a good listener, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is why I said the person needs to be someone who's matured,
Yeah.
someone like a mentor who's willing to listen and who's willing to guide you in the right.
I mean, agree with you on that aspect in terms of good listening skills and communication. I think
Yes,
it is the key to have
yes,
balanced work environment.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, what I want to ask you is that when we talk now that we're talking about workspace environment, right? Now, you have been at the leadership team. I am at the leadership team. With your years of experience, my years of experience, I think as leaders, we have to play that role of being the problem solver for resolving
Correct,
conflicts,
correct.
especially that cause fear and stress.
Hmm,
I'm not going to say anger, because now in today's terminology, anger, anxiety equals stress.
correct,
So, what is it that you think, and how can workspaces, especially the leaders in every workspace, I mean, any organization, create a safe environment for people to express themselves? Because even at work, when you express yourselves,
hmm,
people don't understand.
right,
They think that you're getting too involved.
hmm,
Getting too involved also is a problem, and if you don't get involved, also it is a problem.
correct,
So, how can leaders, HR departments, organizations create that safety net? Because see, when you
correct,
in your 24 hours,
right.
half your day you are spending at work,
Absolutely, absolutely.
right?
Yeah,
So, what is it that leaders, HRs, organizations should do to create that environment?
yeah. I think that's a valid question, something that organizations need to adopt. And the majority of the organizations, or most of the organizations that I've known, have implemented it. But what I feel is that in order to create a culture of facilitating healthy emotional expression, there's one thing that I would recommend to all corporates is to embrace authenticity as one of the values or one of the competencies across all levels. Because as I said earlier, right, when you become authentic, you are in a better position to express yourself. Uh, Organizations also need to encourage people to allowing them to make mistakes, allowing them to fail, and also encouraging them to learn from those mistakes,
Hmm.
learn from those feelings, apply those learnings, right? And when it comes to expressing or speaking up, organizations can have the LND can facilitate sessions where people are encouraged to speak up, where people are taught how to present to maybe the leadership group or to a larger group. Because when they start doing that, that is how you probably help people overcome their fear of public speaking. Now, this is something that obviously in school and colleges uh, they don't teach you. It's typically learned on the job. But as an organization, you need to create opportunities for people to go up on the stage, to fail on stage, and help them learn those nuances of speaking, nuances of expressing, and nuances of articulating your thoughts. So it's only when you create this, as the right word that you used was safety net, uh, will people be able to express themselves. But authenticity needs to be uh, needs to be practiced
Mm.
at all levels, across all levels. Right?
No, I think also one more thing what I think should be added to this is mentorship.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because a lot of like being in the digital industry, right? We come
Correct.
across people from various walks of lives,
Yeah,
like you said, some are comfortable in talking in English, some are not. I think that opportunity, creation of that
correct.
opportunity, is something that should be practiced in every company. Like you said, that safety net
Yeah,
is very essential. Otherwise it's like I'll just go to work, finish my job, and go home.
correct.
I'm not learning out of it. There'll be a point where you are at a saturation level.
Right.
What next?
Correct. Absolutely.
How do I reach that next level?
Absolutely.
And I think what you mentioned is beautiful in terms of giving the right opportunity
Yeah.
and to help those who want the help,
Right.
to reach that level. I think beautifully put across. And thank you so much, Akshay, for that. I think if companies you all are listening, if no one is practicing it, please contact Akshay Masurekar. He will help you understand what needs to be done. Um,
Thank you. Because speaking of which, towards the end, I was going to say that there are two new programs that I'm launching for the corporate. One is Relaxo Cafe, which is your interactive coffee sessions, helping people understand importance of healthy emotional expression. And the other, well, the other one is not new. It's a program that I keep doing. It's called as Hriday Vani, which is similar to your employee assistance program. So yeah, you can stay tuned to it because I'll be launching it on LinkedIn
I
recently.
think I think we will all wait for it, especially me, because I have learned a lot, in the past 6 months, knowing you and the journey that I have also come across in the 6 months. But that we'll have a separate
Yeah,
conversation.
we'll
What I wanted
absolutely.
to ask you one last question
Yeah,
here Akshay,
yeah,
is uh, we have spoken about fear, anxiety, fear, anger, stress.
yeah.
Okay. Now, who are we to blame for this cause? Is it work? Is it relation? Or is it both? And if it is either one or both, maybe two tips as to how can one manage it,
Correct.
because I don't think people understand when they are under the bracket of being stressed.
Right.
Because I think एक छोटा नाखून भी टूटा, oh I'm stressed. Like I said at the start, these words have been abused to the maximum.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what is it that people should do to manage it out?
Right. I think rightly asked. So the only one to blame is us, हम खुद. No, just kidding. You don't have to blame anyone for it. Neither your work nor relationships. Uh, कोई नहीं है. But as I mentioned at the start, we've kind of complicated our lives through overthinking, lack of clarity, fear of the future, and this is happening because of lack of self awareness. Now I've kind of repeated this multiple times during the talk, throughout the talk, because that is the crux of this fast life. It's our lack of self awareness. आप कौन हो, आप क्या हो, वो तो philosophical question बन जाता है. But all you need to understand is what are you doing currently. You get up in the morning, you start your laptop, you focus on making those presentations, reaching out to clients, converting clients, getting money, earning EBITDA. ये सब कर रहा है, चल रहा है, पैसा आ रहा है. But is that really what you want? Maybe पैसा तो है ही. But what you need to do is you need to articulate. I need to sit back. You need to sit back and reflect on who you truly are. आपको प्रमोशन चाहिए, आपको पैसा चाहिए. But when you reach a particular stage in life, yes, money is important. I'm not saying money is not important. You need money because you need money not to survive in life. We need to throw that word survive out of the dictionary. You need money to take care of your life's purpose. And you'll understand your life's purpose only when you understand who you truly are. अब वो एक दिन का काम तो है नहीं. So every day what you need to do is just think about कि आज के दिन पे मुझे क्या करना है. What is the one thing I can do today to stay connected to who I truly am. बस वो एक दिन, वो कुछ भी हो सकता है, आपके दिमाग में कुछ भी होगा, like today I will not get angry. That is one thing you'll do. And as you keep doing it every day for 21 days, you'll realize on the 22nd day that you have probably touched so many aspects about yourself, that you will start seeing your strengths, you will start seeing your developmental areas, and you will also understand your triggers.
Hmm.
Because when you understand your triggers, you will focus on protecting yourself from the harm. अगर गुस्सा हो रहा है या गुस्सा आपको किसी पर्टिकुलर पर्सन से हो रहा है, तो मे बी ऑन दैट डे यू विल से दैट बॉस टुडे आई एम नॉट इन द मूड टू डिस्कस, लेट मी जस्ट स्टे थोड़ा aloof, let me be in my space, and which is fine. Giving yourself your space is extremely important, because if you're not doing it, then you are probably not taking good care of yourself.
Hmm.
So spending your me time, or spending time with yourself is a must, and that is something that you need to do. Now stress is again a result of us not being able to manage ourselves, manage our purpose, because the focus is on the outcome. ये क्लाइंट को कन्वर्ट नहीं किया तो मुझे प्रमोशन नहीं मिलेगा, या मुझे रिकग्निशन नहीं मिलेगा, या मुझे बोनस नहीं मिलेगा. बट कन्वर्टिंग द क्लाइंट इज नॉट इन योर कंट्रोल, राइट? What is in your control is your performance. What is in your control is the way you speak. What is in your control? The way you think, the way you create your presentation. So in today's talk, how many people are watching, or are people understanding, or people liking it? Now, people liking or not liking is not in our control, right? What is in our control is probably talking, articulating our thoughts well, and presenting it to the crowd. So stress is often a result of us focusing on things we cannot control.
Yeah.
तो वो लोकस ऑफ कंट्रोल थोड़ा चेंज करना है, और वो अंदर लाना है. You can only control yourself. You can control your ability to express yourself, your emotions. You can control the way you are leading your life. तो नेगेटिव थिंकिंग से अगर आपको बाहर पड़ना है, तो वो आप ही ले सकते हो. आपकी वाइफ या आपका हस्बैंड या आपका पार्टनर, आपके फ्रेंड्स, आपका बॉसेस नहीं कर पाएंगे. वो आपको करना है. Thinking about the future again, not going to help you, because I read it somewhere that brooding over your past is like it's already happened, it's gone. वो वापस नहीं आने वाला. Future तो आया ही नहीं है.
Hmm.
So if you're worrying about something that does not exist, then obviously there will be stress, because you're stressing about something that has not happened, or that is yet to come. So instead, focus on what is it that you want to do now, right? And I've also gone through it. Now there have been times where I keep worrying about अरे क्या होगा, but every time that happens, then I need to make myself aware and get myself back on track, which is okay. So even if you are able to get yourself back on track, that is also fine. But all you need to do is just focus on understanding yourself, focus on what is happening within, focus on what are you thinking, what are your emotions, and just be who you truly are. Embrace your authenticity. Authenticity will help you eliminate your fear. It will help you eliminate your anxiety. It will help you eliminate your anger. और ये सब eliminate हो गए तो आपका stress भी चला जाता है. ये करने के बाद भी थोड़ा बहुत आपको anger आएगा, fear आएगा, but that is manageable.
Hmm.
Right? So just be who you are, and lead your life the way you want it. That's it. Awareness is your key. That's it. That's all I have to say.
I think what you mentioned, the word awareness, I think that is important. Self awareness is important. Like you
Absolutely.
said, you can control yourself, you can't control the opposite person.
Yeah.
The control is in our hands, right?
Correct.
Even if you're driving a car,
Right.
it's in your hands whether you want to survive or whether you want to crash,
Correct. Absolutely.
right? If we are putting that trust, for example, if you're putting the trust in a pilot who is taking us from one city to the other, thousands of miles away from the land,
Correct.
then why can't we trust ourselves?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think thank you so much, Akshay.
Thank you. Thank you to you.
I think it was a very fruitful session for me, at least, and for those watching. Uh, all I would tell everyone is that, I personally do this. I journal my things down. I write things down. I don't believe in digital because I think when you write something using a pen and a book, you express way more rather than when you type. Because when you type,
Absolutely.
you always tend to delete
Yeah.
and rewrite,
Right.
delete and rewrite.
Right.
When you
Absolutely.
take a pen and paper, even if you scratch something, you know you've written something, you can read that.
Correct. Absolutely.
I always tell everyone who believes in journaling, write whatever you feel like. Manifest what you want to manifest.
Correct.
Make your best friend, write whatever you feel. It's going to be yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think
And no, no, I think rightly mentioned. Journaling is definitely useful. And if you're doing it, if you're finding it useful, excellent way of expressing yourself, releasing your energy. Uh, and yeah, there's one more thing that I would want to add here is also letter writing. So if you're angry, if you're not able to express your anger, write a letter to that person, but don't give it to that person. Just tear it off and throw it. If you remember this, I think शाहिद कपूर का फिल्म था जब वी मेट, उसमें फोटो का जलाते हैं, but in this case what you need to do is just write a letter to that person and just tear it off. That's it. And
no,
write until your hands start aching.
I think
You know,
it's
you
okay
start,
to,
you stop when you feel that your hands are.
but I think थोड़ा मसाला तो चाहिए ना. You, it's okay to give it to the person who
हाँ तो दे दो, वो भी दे दो. ये पढ़ो अभी, ये तुम्हारी वजह से.
पढ़ो, so that the person knows next time don't repeat it, right? हम
Yeah.
बोलते हैं ना,
So at your own risk though.
हाँ, मजाक करना है तो मजाक सहना भी सीखो.
हाँ,
So same thing, if you are insulting someone, then get used to getting insulted as well,
absolutely, absolutely.
right? I think also one more thing, everyone, if you've had a bad day, you have, removed your anger on someone unintentionally, just go back, smile, say a sorry, hug it out.
Yeah, absolutely,
I think that will help ease the tension and the stress,
absolutely.
which all of us are saying, we are stressed, we are stressed, we are stressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Change the perception about yourself, about the
correct.
world, right? Because perception or assumptions, यहाँ पे बैठ जाएंगे तो problem होगी. Right?
Responsibilities will be there, it'll be adding on.
Correct.
You can't run away from responsibilities because our society has made those responsibilities. So we have to follow it with your will. Okay, there are some responsibilities that you don't want to do, it's fine. But
Correct.
I think us being stressed, we can de-stress ourselves, like the way we declutter things from a house.
Correct. Absolutely.
De-stress yourself, just say a sorry, smile it out, hug it out. I think that will help ease the tension.
Absolutely.
It'll help you build a better relation with whoever you want to build with. And if
Bang on.
nothing, if it still doesn't work, you know who to contact. Akshay Masurekar. He has the answers to all the problems that you are going through or you are dealing with.
We'll
Uh,
we'll we'll try to find those answers, together.
it's a slow
Co-creative
process.
journey. Yes.
Yeah, it's a slow process, but he will ensure that you get connected to yourself so that you yourself will answer those questions.
Right. Absolutely.
And the reason I'm saying it, I'm testimony to it, is because I have gone through that. I know how it feels. I
Correct.
have gone through it. I have connected myself in a way that I've accepted the way I am. I don't need a certificate from anyone anymore to judge me on my talent, my profession,
Very
my
true.
personal life. No. Let people speak what they want to speak about you, whether it is personal, whether it is work. You
Absolutely.
know who you are, you know what you've achieved in your life, and you know what you want to conquer. That's all that matters.
Correct. Absolutely. So just be who you are. That's the bottom line.
Yes. I think that
That's
exceeded the time,
yes. Yes.
but I think the session was amazing and beautiful,
Would
Akshay.
agree. Yes. Thank
Uh,
you for making it even more interactive and intense.
I think very, very insightful, very knowledgeable, and I hope this helps a lot of people in terms of how to avoid the fast-paced life.
Absolutely.
It's okay to slow down. It's okay to take a
Correct.
break. It's okay to take a holiday, not with family, but for yourself.
For yourself. Absolutely. Well said.
That will help you be a better version of yourself. If you're
Correct.
competing with anyone else, don't compete. Compete with yourself to be the better version of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
All
right. Thank
right.
you so
Thank
much.
you, guys. Thank you, Avinash.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
With
Akshay.
that, we end the live.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Signing out.